albums. Well, hi everybody. Anthony Fantano here. Internet's busiest music nerd. Yeah. We're here. It's been a whole year. And we've got to talk about this now. Before I get into this, I want to say a couple things. Just thank you guys for the amazing 365 days that I've been doing this through 2010. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a blast. I had no idea that I would go this far in a year. Basically, I came up with the order and the albums on this list by just in my head pitting albums against each other, saying to myself, which one would I rather listen to, which one would I rather listen to. Screw scores. There's no science going on here. You guys know by now, this is just opinion. And if you have any questions about the list, if you have any questions like, hey, why isn't this band on there, or how come this album isn't number one, that kind of stuff, just refer to this link. It's also in the D-Box. Now yes, there are 50 albums on this list, but I will be touching down on the first half of it very quickly because I want to get to the other 25. Here is the first half of my albums list. You should check them out, 'cause I think they're pretty cool. Link in the D-Box. Honorable mention, honorable mention. At number 25, we have one of my favorite electronic albums of the year, Luke Abbott's Holcomb Drones. If you're into synth worship, if you're into really odd drum machine beats, this is most definitely the thing for you. At number 24, easily my favorite mashup album of the year, Kids and Explosions, Shit Computer. Number 23, Magic Kids, Memphis. At number 22 and 21, The Tallest Man on Earth with The Wild Hunt, and Off with First 4 EPs. At number 20, it's one of the loudest albums I've heard all year, Nails' Unsilent Death. And at number 19, an LP that took a while to grow on me, but once it did, really enjoyable, really melodic, great songwriting, just great attitude and ambience. The radio department's Clinging to a Scheme. At number 18, I love this album for its ambition, for its eccentricities, its catchy songwriting, Janelle Monáe's The Archandroid. At number 17, Adam Green's Minor Love, and at 16, Screw the Haters, MGMT's Congratulations. I think albums 14 and 15 are where they are for obvious reasons. Their creativity, their greatness. I don't feel like I need to make the case for these albums, but Arcade Fire with The Suburbs and Chromeo's Business Casual. At number 13, one of the most beautifully crafted albums of ambient and instrumental music I've heard all year, Brian Eno's Small Craft on a Milk Sea. Number 12, I did not get a chance to review, but it's so freaking catchy, I can't deny it. Number 12, Brandon Flowers with Flamengo. I did not expect it to rank so high, but after listening to this album multiple times, sort of in the background, I just saw it as being more entertaining than a lot of albums I've heard this year, even though I was just kind of lukewarm on the single. Close to done here already, y'all, with number 11, an album that I expected to hate it, but then I listened, and I mean actually listened, and got really into the cute lyrics, the great beats, the musicianship, the interplay between these guys. They really know how to be a band, and they know how to write a catchy tune that I just can't say no to. Vampire Weekend with Contra. And now, we are in top 10 territory. Yeah! Number 10 is one of the most brutal exercises in sonic abuse. There is a shock value aspect to this album because of how loud it is, because of just how abrasive it is. However, I would argue that once that shock wears off, there is more to listen to. Little Women, Throat. To me, number 9 and number 8 don't really need to be explained all that deeply. Their uniqueness in comparison to many albums that have come out this year for me is pretty much what put them where they are. Glasser's Ring and Gonja Sufi's A Sufi and a Killer. Like the Little Women album that I mentioned earlier, this LP really hit me hard because of its tension, because of how off-kilter it feels, because of how eerie it feels at a lot of moments, but also mashes that together with a strong pop sensibility and just a lot of good musicianship. I would say Women's Public Strain is very deserving of its spot on this list. Now, number 6. I did not expect this album to rank so high. I said in my original review of this album that even though it wasn't amazing me completely from beginning to end, there were songs on here that I would give a 10 out of 10 for sure. No questions asked. However, I kept returning to this album. I kept re-listening to it because of those songs that I liked a lot. And slowly the tracks that I was kind of lukewarm on, and even the tracks that I didn't even care for, really grew on me. Gorillaz, Plastic Beach, just great freaking album. Number 5 should really be no surprise to a lot of you guys. I've advocated this band a lot. Beach House with Teen Dream. I just love the beefier dream pop feel that the duo goes for on this album. At number 4, I'm really proud to have this album on here. I'm really proud to have a metal album come up so high on this list. But I really loved this thing from the moment I heard it, and I listened again and again and again, and it slowly just grew on me more and more and more, very much deserving of a higher score than what I gave it originally. Agaloc's Marrow of the Spirit. At number 3 is an electronic album that I loved very early into the year, and it stuck with me throughout the year, just leaving a lasting impression. There was no question that I would like this album when I came back and revisited it. Fortet's There Is Love in You. At number 2, we have an album that I thought about long and hard, whether or not this one should actually be number 1. You guys know I love sample-based music, something that advances the idea of that past, you know, oh, here's a pop song that we all like, here's a section of it, and it's just looped over and over and over. This goes much deeper than that, to experiment with different sounds, with found vocals, the books, The Way Out. And we have my number 1 right now, and maybe you guys saw this coming after yesterday's video. But this album is in the spot that it is, not only because it emulates a really strong dance rock and post-punk sound, which is just a style of music that I love. That's just, you know, my thing. I love beats, I love grooves, I love something that you can just move to. But I also like this album a lot because it's something that whenever I put it on, whenever I listen to it, it's just good mood inducing. No matter how I'm feeling, no matter how I'm thinking, at this point in my life anyway, I can just put this thing on and I feel great. I feel upbeat. I just feel like I'm taken by the music. It's something that I really enjoy, and that's all anything this list really comes down to. Enjoyment. If you're enjoying something more than anything else you've heard, then that's going to be your number 1. LCD Sound Systems, this is happening. I'm not going to come out here and tell you guys that this is a genius album. I don't think it is. In fact, I feel like James Murphy on this LP, more than LCD's previous efforts, is a lot less afraid to kind of show where his inspirations and his influences are coming from. You really don't even need to read an interview to hear that there's Velvet Underground in this thing, that there's David Bowie in this thing, that there's Talking Heads in this thing, and those just happen to be artists and acts that I love a lot, and because of that, this thing really struck a chord with me. What more can I say? Maybe some of you are saying, yes! And maybe some of you are pulling your hair out. And you know what? That's fine, but there's really no reason to. It's just my point of view, and it's just my list. No more significant than anybody else's list. Just bands and albums that I've really liked from this past year. But do let me know in the comments, what did you guys like this year? Does your list look anything like mine? What's your favorite album of the year, and why? Anthony Fantano, Lists, 2010, forever.